topic. Let's just do breaking news. No more bullshit. No more bullshit.
No bullshit.
Whatever my career is to be something. I'm in a smelly basement. Looking for
Charlie,
under the table here.
we need to see you.
Welcome to Shark Week, motherfuckers.
Ah.
Oh, that was like, oh God. Somebody call an ambulance, man. My career's dead. That's why this fucking took an hour to get this. Sorry we're late.
It's not just Shark Week. It's Shark Week.
Motherfucker.
What an easy room, too.
That was terrible. That was terrible. That was.
What was that? What do we even
It was a setup, Charlie. I mean,
nobody knows what we're talking about. See, I'm gonna lose my mind.
it was a setup, Charlie. To me,
Wait a
it was
minute,
just
Karen.
one.
You think?
Sorry?
Do you really think like half the people even know what that is? Because anybody's watching this bullshit theater called politics?
No, but I think it was done to try to.
No, wait. Before you just go off, you got to tell the
Okay.
people what it is. That was Whitmer getting ready to deliver remarks via Zoom, right, to the Democratic National Convention.
Here it is
Right.
again. Here it is again.
And there's a hot mic.
It's not just Shark Week. It's Shark Week.
Keep it going.
I have learned about the hot mic.
You sure did.
Boy, how stupid.
You knew the mic was hot, didn't you?
She knew it was hot, Charlie. Come on, we're not stupid. I mean, this is the thing. All of this situation, or all of her decisions, all of these actions have been, circling about the DNC, about the vice president nomination. Everything has been strategic. Elevate my visibility. Look at me. I'm this tough, whatever. To do that and say that was disingenuous. And like Mark said, it's an easy room. Everybody's trying to gain. What did I say the other day? Clicks and clout. That's what everybody's seeking.
Yep.
And that's exactly what that was. Nothing less, nothing more. It wasn't amusing. It wasn't impressive. It wasn't professional. And to me, it did nothing to secure what I think she was seeking in doing so.
I always get, my language and the way I carry myself, I get called crass and crude. And all of a sudden, everybody's doing it. Look at Rashida Tlaib, impeach the motherfucker. Like, motherfucker's hip now?
Mm-hmm.
Again, Charlie, everybody seeks clicks and clout, and that's exactly what that was. I mean, everything is strategic. Who was that? Was that Roosevelt who said that everything you see in politics is deliberate? Nothing is organic. Nothing is intentional. And now, with social media, with everything is planned. Don't ever think that any of this is organic or that it is just happenstance. It is not. It is designed to evoke a response. And that was nothing different.
Well, I don't ever want to hear them complain about the president being crass. Right? Doesn't it go both ways?
I'm a non-partisan. I'm just getting pissed. I'm fighting with my wife, like watching the Biden and you know what I mean? It's propaganda.
Oh, that's a worthy fight. Why are you fighting over that?
Because we're locked down.
Who cares, though?
Because we're discussing it, and I just find it stupid. I don't even like it. I can't.
I find it entertaining.
You gotta let me out of my house.
Well, here you are. You're out of your house.
I'm in the fucking basement and I can't get the microphone to work.
I was going to say, you've
It's
been out of your house.
Lower level, Charlie. Lower level.
Kirky's busting my ass. It's a basement.
I think after today's show, you're going to want to be back in your house the way things have been going. What do we got going on today?
Well, look here. So we got a Flint big settlement. Look, I'm like Nostradamus here. Told you.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to get into Flint. We got City Councilman Eric Mays, who hasn't cut his hair since February. He looks like Shaft.
There he's walking around.
Look at him.
We've had a little trouble with his microphone today, so it looks like he's walking around looking for a better
power
area.
of the people, my friend.
It's been very interesting watching him walk around.
And we're going to get into. I'm sorry, guys. We're going to get into the nursing homes. Don't be bored. But I'm a rabid dog. I get my teeth in something. We keep doing it until it gets fixed.
Someone has to.
And we're getting the flare up again. And guess where they're happening? I got the statistical stuff right here. I work all week for you. Look, nonpartisan. Just fix the shit. And I go away. Then we find something new we got to fix. We'll have the rant this week. And we have Ike. We got to call him Ike. He
Air
is
quotes.
a nursing home inspector. He's investigating. We can't give you his name. We have to change his voice a little bit because you know how government works. Whistleblowers die. They go down.
Yep.
But he's here because I know everybody. Everybody that's normal and does the work. Plus, see this? See that?
I love it.
That is honorary fire chief. Me. It's a huge honor. I want to talk a little bit about what the first responders are going through, their lack of a contract, right? And what the fuck's going on. More scandal with Duggan in the land bank. But first, I want to tell you that No Bullshit News Hour is brought to you by our dear friends at American Coney Island, Detroit's oldest family-run restaurant. You know this. It's the best dog in the world. And if you don't want to go out, go to AmericanConeyIsland.com, get a Coney kit. Now do it, because I pack them. So make me busy. Okay? Dozen dogs, chili, proprietary recipe, a Vidalia onion, buns, right? And one of those nice little hats they have.
Yeah.
Go to AmericanConeyIsland.com or go to American Coney Island, downtown at Michigan Avenue and Lafayette. Best.
And they're good to send to folks, Charlie, as we try to figure out new ways to stay in touch with friends and family, just not even here in the city, but around the country. I've sent a couple kits out to folks. And so, it's also a nice gesture.
And they got a nice, big, clean restaurant, properly distanced and all that. And they wear gloves and clean the toilet. I did the taste test with Lafayette the other day.
I thought you said with the toilet.
It's a nice dog, but it's not better. I could taste which one was which.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe
Okay.
we should do that one day.
Were you blindfolded, Charlie?
No, they were just brought on plates. I'm like,
Okay.
let me just do it. See if I could still tell. And I could.
I could go for about 5 right now.
I know. Well, maybe we'll do that. We'll get some next week, man.
Love to.
Get you fed, brother.
Love to.
Well, what do I
don't
get?
need
I'm
help.
not there.
Nothing.
I
You get
know.
your lawn mowed. No Bullshit News Hour, as always, brought to you by ADR Consultants. Get your business humming. Get it done right. Navigate the bureaucracy, right? Now it's starting to happen. Now the calls are coming. Now we're in emergency position again. I don't know why. Everybody's having trouble with their construction firms, right? Their municipality, etc. IT, all of it. Call Barry Allen Tuck, ADR Consultants, honest, ethical, smart. 248-318-9424. Experts in procurement, government compliance, information technology, property management. He used to do it for the city and the state on this demo stuff, but because he was so good at it, right? He wasn't doing it.
You won't even touch it?
They're like, no, we don't want you.
Yeah.
Honest, ethical, smart. ADR Consultants, 248-318-9424. It is not.
Shark Week, motherfucker. It is go back to school week.
Is it?
Yeah, now we're going back to school. And again, here's the deal. Okay, I listened to it and I believe it. Trump, incompetent. His response to COVID, right? I mean,
Non-existent.
yeah, well, where's the tests, right? Where's the testing help? Is slow to act, et cetera, right? Okay, you're not going to, he threatened to cut funding to schools that didn't send the kids back.
Yeah.
Okay, look, nonpartisan. You want to go there? That's a lot of shit wrong. It's the same with the governor.
Yeah. Very little instruction as to what schools should do or how they should do it.
Zero.
In my opinion.
Here's the deal, folks. There is no mask requirements of the schools. It's unbelievable that I can't go into the gas station. And I'm not bitching that you have to.
Yeah.
It holds the disease in if you have it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't
A
it
little
be?
bit.
Why wouldn't it be the same at schools?
It should be. It absolutely should be. And it's not always about the kids. There's adults that work in schools.
Yes.
But that's been the problem with this from day one. There's not been a consistent protocol. Everything is left up to everybody's personal discretion as to what you do, how you do. You still see people, they don't know how to wear a mask. And so, as long as this happens, we're not even going to prepare for a second wave. We're going to be anticipating a third wave.
I understand why things change because we're in the middle of it and we learn new stuff and they lied to us in the beginning saying they not to use masks because they needed them. But I think we know where we are now. In Bridge Magazine, we talked about them a couple weeks ago. I had a really interesting story where there's the state admits there's 14 school-related coronavirus outbreaks, and Bridge said Where are they and how many?
How many people?
Yeah, how many people? You have 14 school-related outbreaks, K through 12 and college. Where are they and how many? And they said, can't tell you that.
Can't tell you that.
Yeah, we're still gathering counts. Why can this state not count?
Right. Again, right? If this was Trump, well, damn, we did
Be all over him, and we should be all over.
We should be all over him. Okay, so then what do we have here? Like, if there's an outbreak, one of these clusters you're talking about, there's no protocol required by the state as to what to do.
Yeah.
Do we close it down? Do we go virtual? Do we go half virtual?
And for how long?
They're leaving it up to the locals, and the locals are pissed. So look, MSU's Michigan State University, all online. Yes. Albion College, everybody's got to stay on campus and be locked down, and you can't leave.
Yeah.
Ferndale is all virtual, right? Detroit, we'll go into that in a second. They might go on strike because the teachers get to choose, but none of the safety protocols are written down. Right? Everybody's flaming these teachers, but remember something. This is a union state.
Yeah.
It's good to have a union. If you know anything about Detroit, they'll promise you shit, and they'll do it for 2 weeks, and then it disappears. It's like having a cop in your neighborhood, right? Write it down. Plus the counselors and all the ancillary staff, they weren't included in having the choice. They were required to go.
Oh, boy.
Who's going to clean? How do we know for sure you're going to clean? What's the budget? I find that to be fair. Don't lay into the teachers.
But think about the sports thing too, Charlie. I mean, so you don't want the kids to play sports, but you do want them to be able to sit in class. And as Dr. Vitti posted today on Twitter, it's like, which one is it? You know, I mean, there has to be some consistency, and the decisions have to make sense, and they should align. Right now, nothing is aligning. So you're being counterproductive. You're undermining the very decisions that you're making because they're not comprehensive. And so what's happening? Nothing.
Right. Now, here's what we did get. What about the internet? The kids in Detroit and in Port,
access,
right? Mm-hmm. They got 6 months free access, but that started in June when you signed up.
Okay.
What happens come January?
They'll get to it.
Right. Okay. So we got $65 million from the feds that we're having press conferences in Lansing about, where no reporters allowed in to ask a tough follow up. But what is the budget for DPS? It's at least $375 million. Right? 50,000 kids times 7,500 in revenue, per pupil.
Okay.
That's about $375 million.
Okay.
So what's $65 million statewide really getting?
Very little.
Nothing.
Stop the bullshit.
Yeah. Be a little more transparent.
And if everything goes virtual, does that increase the competition between schools because you no longer have to live in West Bloomfield? Will that open it up to other students? Will things become performance-based? I mean, this actually stands to change the game all around. But how and who's going to manage and monitor it?
Yeah, so we have cross-contamination in the nursing homes. The casinos are kind of open. The bars are closed. The churches, we don't know. Restaurant, you have the spacing, right?
The casinos are open.
Protests are okay. And we don't know what we're doing with the schools. You had 6 fucking months to get this in order. Because the thing I do know about a virus, we all got to do the same thing. You want to get it in control, we all got to do the same thing. So one school district being open, one being closed, one being half, one it's a choice. What the fuck? Ugh. But here's the thing. Here's the thing, folks. We'll move right along now. We'll move right along with that. The governor, like Trump, for the 5th time has extended her emergency declaration. Trump has declared 7 national emergencies. The wall, COVID, right? Mm-hmm. He's getting ripped. When do we return to representative democracy? When is that happening?
Return.
Yeah, I was going to say.
How do you go back to something you never had?
Yeah.
So, what was I going with that? Okay.
I don't know.
The
to hell with everything else.
Here's the thing. Now we're going to bring in Ike. Ike, are you there?
Ike is here, Charlie.
Thanks for being on. Ike, let's just call him an inspector of these nursing home and long-term care facilities in the state. He's working on uncovering what's happened with deaths, who's reporting them, who's not, what happened to the wards of the state, the old people that the chief executive Whitmer is legally and technically their parent, their guardian. Is this correct, Ike?
You're spot on. Yes, sir.
Okay, so here's what we're doing. Let me give you all some numbers. We're talking about these outbreaks. I called the Department of Health and Human Services as well, right? Trying to get what these numbers really are.
Good luck.
You said there were 14 outbreaks in the schools. But we're like, okay, well, how many kids are affected, right? We don't get that.
We don't know. Mm-hmm.
This is Dr. Caldoun, Dr. K.
Dr. J.
They were calling her Dr. J.
Yeah, Dr. J.
Show some respect.
Excuse me.
Get the right doctor initial.
She said, here's some numbers. There were 75 deaths last week. 70 of the 75 deaths were in long-term care facilities. That means these nursing homes that the governor refuses to bifurcate, to create facilities only for COVID old people, or create extra staff. Okay? She vetoed that bill. We're not going to do that. Quoting science that none of us know. So, there's that. We don't know what a long-term care facility is, but if you look it up online, it's a nursing home. There's 450 of these in the state, okay? But there's also 300 homes for the aged, 4,200 homes for adult foster care, and all the assisted living that isn't licensed, but the governor in her executive order said they're all to be called long-term care facilities. Follow me so far?
Yes.
But when they're reporting the number of deaths and cases, they're only doing the 450 nursing homes.
So it's a semantic runaround?
Let's
Skewing
ask,
the numbers.
okay?
Yeah.
So 187 outbreaks last week, okay? 187 outbreaks. Dr. Caldoun said 50% of them were from the long-term care facilities, the nursing homes.
Okay.
94. The next closest, 17 from social gatherings, and 14 from schools, 5 statewide from restaurants, 4 from churches and places of worship, and 3 outbreaks from bars. So by far, our biggest problem remains the nursing homes.
Yes.
We're shutting down schools. We're shutting down your job.
I would think, too, that the infections in nursing homes are far worse than those other infections, too, because people in those homes tend to be a little more compromised than, say, someone at a bar.
Ike, what do you think? You're the guy that's in those places.
Well, I think, thanks for having me. I think those numbers substantiate what has been talked about since very early on in this pandemic, in that the most vulnerable of our society is being the least protected. But 70 to 75 coming from a long-term care facility is consistent with what we have seen in the field since day one. Yet the executive order still stands to where it says 2023, 123, and this is redacted from Executive Order 50, must not prohibit admission and readmission. The long-term care facility must accept the return of the resident. So they're still commingling positive and negative patients, and the transmission rate is consistent with the moving of the patients. Not only with the patients, but with the healthcare employees. Now, the PPE has improved somewhat, but the healthcare facility personnel are subject to being exposed to it and transmitting it not only within the facility, but outside the facility.
Because we don't have enough we don't have enough staff to keep them separate from the staff attending to a positive person and a negative person. It's the staff that's really spreading this, right?
Sure. Well, there's no doubt that's one of the big transmissions. There's no doubt, because a lot of the patients in and of themselves aren't able to commingle on their own, right? A lot of them are bedridden and or wheelchair bound, so they need assistance in their daily functions. So the transmission comes from, again, remember early on in this, back in March when Melissa Samuel, the president of the Healthcare Association of Michigan, wrote a letter, March 15th, I believe was the date, to Governor Whitmer, and CC'd it to everybody in our staff and the healthcare portion.
Speed it up, man.
asking if they could use a facility designated solely for it, and it was refused.
Here, let me do this.
So,
This is what you meant. Here, I look, you do it. Help me out here. Don't drag this show down. Let's just give them the fact. A professional sent a letter to Whitmer saying, look, it's probably a better idea to take an empty building and put the COVID positive people there. Or like Cobo Hall or like Suburban Show Place. Didn't do it.
Sure.
And all of a sudden we're here, right?
Didn't do it.
We knew, and we're still not doing
That's
it.
where we are.
So let me do
We're
this.
still not doing it.
Here's your investigation. You're getting death certificates now, aren't you?
Yes, we are.
You're pulling those, and
The death certificate, right.
and you're trying to determine
And
cause of
the
death.
death-
What are you finding? Let me ask the question, and then you answer it. Ike, my buddy, you getting some death certificates. Are you finding some COVID deaths that aren't being counted as COVID deaths? And are you finding deaths that aren't being attributed to the nursing homes like we're being told?
Yeah, we're finding pneumonia-related hypoxia, respiratory failure on some of them, and COVID-19 deaths on others.
So they're not
yeah.
they're not being counted.
Both.
They're not being counted as COVID deaths.
I don't think they are.
There are going to be a lot of lawsuits coming. That's part one. But part two, I'm going to do it, folks. You might be bored, and we'll move on quickly. But remember, it's still happening. 70 out of the 75 deaths. Over 50% of the outbreaks, and they won't tell us how many people this involves. It's still going on. They've still taken away democracy. You're out there being told that we need to have our democracy taken away to protect us. And the only ones really getting waylaid by this are the ones in the nursing homes. Because I did some counting this morning, Ike. CDC. I did a hand count. Where is it? It's a total. Right here. You want to know how many people in the entire United States of America since March 10th have died from COVID?
Sure.
24 and below. People under 25.
Okay.
A grand total in the United States, 310. Okay, the amount of people, 34 and younger, basically under 35, how many people total died? 1,410.
How many?
1,410. In a country of 328 million. So, I am willing to sacrifice. I am not arguing that this is not a health crisis. But we need to protect.
I don't think anybody is.
Ike,
I don't think anybody is. Go ahead, man.
I was just going to say, what can be done now?
Excellent
Well, I
question.
think in order to stop it, you have to bifurcate, like we're talking about earlier. You have to isolate those with COVID-19 away from those who are not. And your employees, your staff, are going to be treating nothing but COVID-19. It has to be relegated.
Well, the governor said we don't have any money, Ike.
Yeah, you pay for it, Ike.
Yeah, well, Ike will pay for it. Well, it's the greatest generation. Now it's the forgotten generation because they're being forgotten. They're just they're being pigeonholed, put away, and out of sight, out of mind. And it needs to change.
And what would this take to create separate buildings and staff?
Well, they did it. They did it in the beginning. They just didn't use them.
They had them.
We got a $600 million settlement for Flint. We got $65 million in COVID relief from the federal government. Why didn't we do that? Why don't we take some fake money and do it?
But here's an easy one that really isn't going to be a huge cost factor. Do not accept any of the COVID-19 positive patients back into the nursing home until they test negative.
Even New York's doing that.
Two negative tests.
That seems obvious.
No, thank you.
How hard is that?
It seems so obvious.
How hard is it? Now, Ike, we talk about what you see there, and it's like, even before COVID, the filth, the wretched way that we treat the old people, the lack of real attention given in this by the state when times were good, right?
Right.
Why now are you speaking? Why did you reach out to me to ring the bell about all the deaths you were seeing?
Because it's unnecessary. I understand that they're vulnerable, but they need the most protection. And by mandating that they take them back and offering an incentive financially to these nursing homes, they're taking them in. It's a win-win on their part in that now they're getting paid $2,000 for COVID positive patient plus $200 a day for the bed. So all that needs changing really is to not take them back until they test negative for twice, and work it from there. And that's not a fail-safe, but a heck of a lot better way.
What do you think?
And it doesn't cost anything.
They report about 2,100 deaths from nursing homes. If you included all the rest of the stuff that's not being counted, like the pneumonia cases, if you included foster care, if you included homes for the aged, everything that was described as long-term care in the emergency orders, what do you think the number would be?
50%.
Like
At least.
4,000 deaths.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It would
Absolutely.
double, you mean? I think my research,
Yeah.
I agree.
Not acceptable, but clearly better.
Worse.
But, no,
50%
but-
worse. I'm sorry.
but
Yeah.
If you look at just the last one, 70 to 75, where did they come from? Long-term care facilities. It hasn't changed. The numbers may have decreased in the amount, but the percentage is going to be consistent.
That would
overall.
mean, right, that means like 12 out of, what is 12, what is 12 divided by 13? What percentage is that? 90? Over 90?
Oh, yeah. Over 90.
The percentage of deaths is over 90% are coming from the nursing homes, and we're still locked down, right? And we know that the majority of the cases are coming from the nursing home, and we're still locked down. And you wonder why there's a spike, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Hey, Ike, last question for you, Ike. Are you like some kind of like right-wing partisan Trumpian guy? This is all politics. Who did you vote for governor?
I voted for Shark Week, Miss Whitmer.
You voted for Whitmer.
I did.
And so, you don't sound like a right-wing zealot. You sound like, wait a minute.
Sounds like a concerned citizen.
Yeah,
I am. I don't like the treatment of the seniors in long-term care facility. It could have and should have been avoided, or a compromise on the executive order. It should have changed. I understand the pandemic, and it was hard to make the right decision, but it doesn't lessen your responsibility to do the right thing when things go bad.
well said, bro.
That's the best point.
Well said.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that, Ike. Thanks, man.
All right.
Okay.
All right, thanks, y'all.
I'll be
Stay
speaking
well.
with you and getting into the guy's data and stuff.
So, Charlie, a couple people are making points. Someone said, that they had a family member that I believe, and I'm reading a lot, that passed, and they had issues that were listed on the death certificate, respiratory issues, all the peripheral outcomes of COVID, but not listed as COVID, so it wasn't counted. Or if a person from a nursing home is taken to a hospital, then that death is also not counted as a nursing home death, even though that person was, resided in a nursing home and their issues were compounded in a nursing home.
That's exactly what Ike's looking into, and that's exactly what I'm looking into. And it's a great thing that you raised, dear community member that typed that in. Because, dig, Ike is finding... He's got power to get death certificates. He's finding exactly what you're talking about. And we all now know you're supposed to assume that that's a COVID and it's a COVID death. Number two, you're absolutely right. If you had COVID in the nursing home, you died at the hospital, that's supposed to be counted as a nursing home death. New York's not doing it, and Cuomo's getting rung up for it. And we're not doing it, but they say we're kind of doing it. We're making phone calls. Okay.
Kind of.
This is a democracy. We want the data. It's our data. We ask a question. You answer the question. You don't let reporters into the building to ask you follow-up questions, and yet the kids are all going to school and commingling without you saying wear a mask. You're absolutely right, dear community. I don't want to say listener or watcher.
Participant.
No, because we're a community.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
If there's one thing we all want with government in general, it's more transparency, right?
Absolutely.
Any public entity, you just want more transparency.
Absolutely.
Because the less transparency, the more you're hiding something, or at least you have the appearance of hiding something and totally fucking something up. So
But
just
this
give
is
us
the
the
other
data.
thing. People have to understand it. Just because you are in an elected capacity or you are a public servant, mistakes happen,
Sure.
pushbacks occur. We are not stupid. Like, we don't expect things to be perfect.
Sure.
We don't expect you not to have any opposition, make a mistake, make a wrong decision, but we do expect you to pivot and to tell us so that we know how to best prepare. Like, you can't just, like, we're not 2-year-olds that need to be told that, the thunderstorm is really the teddy bear knocking at the door. I mean,
Amen.
let us know what's going on. I know it's a bad analogy, but you know what I'm trying to say.
But
I thought it was well.
This is dug in April 15th before Whitmer even issues the devastating order.
Okay.
Quote, "It continues to be a source of real concern, and I'm going to start dealing with some of these nursing home directors myself if we don't see a significant commitment in keeping these patients well."
What did he
What's that?
personally do?
He said he tested some people.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Sure.
Everything is for show. I'm telling you, everything, every quote, every soundbite, every camera shot, every angle, all of it. It's just, and people have to think beyond just what they're being told. They do. Otherwise, we're all being misled.
Here's Dr. Fauci on January 21st. Quote, "Obviously, you need to take it seriously and do the kind of things the Center for Disease Control and Prevention and the Department of Homeland Security is doing. But it is not a major threat to the people of the United States, and this is not something that citizens of the United States right now should be worried about."
When was that?
January 21st.
But to Karen's point, I think he's changed his opinion with more data.
Exactly. No,
He was talking about this last year. Everybody knew we were being headed toward a pandemic. I mean, just like we're not hearing enough about the second wave. I had somebody in the medical industry tell me to anticipate a third wave.
The reason
none of this is working.
The reason I brought that up is what you're saying. When you project into the future, Trump's lazy response. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. Fauci's like the world expert here, and is almost like it's February 1st, like 6 weeks before this thing blows up.
Yes.
He's like, not a major concern. Am I blaming Fauci? I'm not so dumb. Things happen. It's unprecedented. You move. You make some mistake. You figure out the mistakes, and you fix it.
We're in the middle of it.
When you're turning old people into a political posture, and you're doing it, Madam Governor, that's it. Fix the fucking shit, and I go away.
She has shown no movement on her
Is
poor
she still
decision.
auditioning for a federal appointment, perhaps, in case Biden wins?
Well,
Is that
we were talking about this before the show, that it seems like she is a little more interested in this past week on the DNC and everything going on the national level than getting the schools ready.
And Kamala Harris.
That's my opinion, and I voted for her. So
yeah, I think I did too. I'm pretty sure I did. I can't remember. I usually look at a third party, right? But it's not. I'm not trying to.
Why weren't you on the ballot?
Huh?
You should have been on the ballot.
I'm thinking about it, but you know how much money these fucking people raise?
Well,
Gary Peters and John James, like $40 million each or some shit.
Ask Dave Knisik if money is the winning deciding factor. That proved that people associate money with, but you got to get out here and resonate with folks and make them understand that it is possible to find someone to put in office that will represent their interest and work on their behalf. Right now, people don't believe that. So it is about the money. So it's about the commercials. It's about the repeated branding of this whole thing. And when you go to the voting booth, it's like, oh, yeah, I remember that name. You don't know what they're going to do. You don't know what they did, but it's embedded because of the repetition and the consistency in the messaging.
And if you try to take on those parties, they'll spend a bunch of money just to tear you the fuck up.
Yeah,
It
they
got
will. But,
nothing to do with policy. But speaking of which, speaking of money, speaking of politics, Flint, the water crisis legal settlement. All right, Dana Nesso gets with her $600 million for a compensation fund. Going to bring in Eric Mays here, our favorite Flint politician.
We really should have just had him on camera the whole time.
We should have, just so you could look
I
at
thought
him.
you did.
We went to him every once in a
taking
while.
screenshots.
Now, this is part of the reason I was frying, laying on the floor at the beginning because we had technical difficulty. I really hope this works. City Councilman Eric Mays, thanks for joining us. Can you hear me? Let's see what this mic's doing.
Unmute yourself. There you go.
Okay,
let's hear it.
Okay, I unmuted myself.
All right, let's sing that little song, see if this mic works.
When I was 17, I ran away from home and from everything I had ever known. I was sick and tired living in a town filled with narrow-minded and the kids used to laugh at me. The kids coming
Oh, cut.
Is it his voice or is it his phone?
His voice is blowing up the internet, right?
He's still going.
He's still going. He's still going. Okay, Eric.
I'm calling him. I'm going to call him.
Okay, let me take care of some business and remind everybody that Hall Financial wants you to know that mortgage rates are at an all-time low, right? Get in on it now. Refi's the deal, but even if you want to get that home, they're low. There's no time to waste. Lower your monthly payments. Put dough in your pocket. If you're on the market for a new home, remember, Hall's servicing is half the time of its competitors. 1,500, it's probably 2,000 now. 5-star reviews. I'm going to have to check that out. Yeah, I knew it. I don't like to be inaccurate, though. Remember, appraisals can be done without someone stepping foot inside your house. That's right. We'll send the school children to do it. I'm just kidding. Virtual appraisals and inspections. Call 248-308-5000 or go to the website davidhallmortgage.com, davidhallmortgage.com, NMLS number 1467435. And as always, my favorite guy in the world, Luke Nowacki, who wants to remind you that you're not a big-time city official. You're not the friends of a big-time city official getting fat on some shitty contracts because you're friends with the big-time city official. You have to work. You have to save. You have to invest. Don't go it alone. Don't make rash decisions. Get some square financial advice. Luke Nowacki at Pinnacle Wealth, 248-663-4748. Grow your assets, annuities, individual retirement accounts, college savings plan. Make the call now. Your politicians, not to mention your children, are depending on you. Luke Nowacki, 248-663-4748.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Royal Alliance Associates Inc. Member FINRA SIPC. Royal Alliance Associates Inc. is separately owned, and other entities and or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent of Royal Alliance Associates Inc.
Woo! Mr. Mays.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
That voice.
God, can you do this for us? Can you say, no bullshit news hour so we can get a drop again? Give me a real good.
Oh, man. Is it a song that go with the no bullshit hour?
You can just put your favorite.
Make one up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Every hour on the hour, when we listen and gain our knowledge and power, we turn to the no bullshit hour.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Did you get that?
That was pipes. Oh, yeah. God, yeah.
Okay, Eric, sir. I know you to be we have fun. You make the news. You're very, man, just big presence. Sometimes your colleagues get mad at you, but I know you to be a fighter for the people. From the beginning of this Flint thing, we've been together. What do you make of the $600 million compensation fund that has been negotiated with the state and the people of Flint?
Well, $600 million in some cases is a lot of money, but when you subtract attorney fees that might be 33 1/3% due to arithmetic, even at a third, 30%, so over $200 million, then that leaves a pot of money for distribution. And then when you're going to distribute money,
It's like a trap house.
What is it? Is it
0.580%. Children under 17.
Right.
But children under
no, look, that's hyper specific. Here's what we're saying. I think.
I couldn't hear you.
Right, we couldn't hear you either. But $400 million will be left after the lawyers. And then there'll be some money for other things like property and all that. So,
Man, I'm straining to hear you.
all right,
It's Friday the 13th.
Fuck,
What
it's
is
okay.
wrong?
It's okay. I'm a professional.
Man, I was hearing you good. Now I can hardly hear you.
Okay, so just listen. Here we're gonna. Yeah, if you can.
Let me listen. Go ahead.
Okay. So after attorneys, there's $400 million left. There were about 26,000 children affected in Flint. They get 85% of this. So if you do all the arithmetic, even though there's different levels for different age groups, basically what we're talking about here is each kid is going to get about $13,000 by the time this is all said and done. So you get enough money for a used car, and we'll see you, kid. Pretty much.
And that's concerning. And then you had adults who died of Legionnaires. You had bacteria and other stuff in the water. They did this settlement based upon lead, but there was more than just lead affecting a group of kids. People died of other germs and bacteria, and I'm here to tell you property values lowered. Now, keep in mind, this is a partial settlement with the state of Michigan. You still got defendants such as the EPA, the federal government that has more money than the state government. And then you got the engineering firms, Land and Veolia. So the pot of money could possibly grow, but will it grow significant? And every time it grows, the attorney fees, do they grow?
That's exactly right. Now, let's put this into some perspective. The Nassar victims, about 330 of them, right, received $500 million. They deserve it, and a horrible, horrible story and situation, very brave women. So let's make that very clear. But that's 500 divided by 330 people. Yeah. Flint's a town of 100,000 where 150 died from Legionnaires.
I don't even know how they figure out how much to even pay out. But I guess that's why the lawyers get the bulk of it, because they figure it out.
Well,
do you know how they actuary it?
Here's the funny bit. I don't know how they come up with the number. But Eric, dig this. How this never went to trial. This wasn't a jury giving damages, right? This was negotiated. So what did they use to consider and realize and create the foundation that the state wronged them? They used Shooty's people, Todd Flood, Andy Arena, their investigation. In fact, one of the class action lawyers said it was the evidence that was entered in the criminal cases that they used to establish the foundation, right? That Flint had been poisoned and wrong. So I find it really interesting that that's good enough for the state to negotiate a civil settlement, but on the criminal side, Dana Nessel fucking threw it out. Because what we do know now is still nobody has spent 1 day in jail. Eric, what do you think of that? Are you angry that there's no criminal culpability here? Or
I know I've been charged, and I've had to deal with charges against me. So, I'm a little biased. If you can charge Councilman Mays, other politicians and people in government should at least be charged. And then we'll see, what happens at the end. So I'm concerned about the criminal charges, and I'll wait and hold my breath to see if they reinstate them. They shouldn't have never dismissed them, in my opinion. Things were moving pretty well. But I tell you, if they can use some of those factual findings and things of that nature in order to settle a civil suit, they should do it in the criminal. What number, how did they pick the number for this many people? I think you did a great comparison with the NASA number as it relates to 300 and something versus 100,000. My job is not to let everybody in the city of Flint use lawyers, because we brought some lawyers in, and some of these lawyers are those lawyers. They got to listen to the plaintiffs, and believe me, we can't celebrate a big $600 million figure without talking the details and getting what we need in order to make the residents whole.
Are you on a sailboat? What's going on there? What's that? He got the craziest microphone.
He's got the worst phone.
Okay, here.
Can you take some of that settlement for your phone?
Say what?
You need a new phone. Okay, here's
maybe it's a signal in Flint. Maybe that's
that could
shoddy
be
too.
All right, look. Here's.
I can hear better.
There
Can
you go,
hear
just
me?
like that, just like that. Now
Don't move.
Listen, don't move, and everybody listen. If you
I'm
remember,
at a stop sign.
if you remember the very first, God damn.
Sorry.
The fucking career. Jesus!
I used to be somebody.
Can we just take this week off?
Well, I should have. Okay.
Too late.
Dial it down, man. That drive me crazy. Okay. If you knew our very first show, we had Todd Flood in here.
Yes.
And the very first show, he told you Dana Nessel's making moves to tank the case before seeing one page of it.
Yes.
Okay. And I said, I'm like Nostradamus. I'm like, what you're going to get is a settlement, some headlines. It won't be a lot of money. Lawyers that contribute heavily to the Democrats, Whitmer and Nessel, will get paid.
Yep.
I said that. That's what's just happened.
That's what always happens, yeah.
Right? And I said later, I got some sealed indictments. There's something hanging around. Right? You know what they're going to do? As I said before, they're going to reinstate charges. This is here. It's coming. On Eden Wells and Nick Lyon, the two top health officials in Michigan, for Governor Snyder. They will also come with some bullshit little charge for Snyder. You'll get big headlines.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a felony. Dereliction of duty or, misuse of public, something like that. That's coming. But what will not come, and see, it's all coming true. What won't come is the racketeering case that they were putting together. The money men and the fixers and the bond attorneys, the ones that conspired to do this, we will never stop them. They're going to get away with it. And so go ahead.
The bond, that's important. If they don't prosecute over that fraudulent bond deal, I'm going to be livid.
That's not coming, dude. I've heard they even cracked the box on that because all that material was brought over from the Schuette administration. We didn't stop the criminals that wear ties.
So what role is the new mayor taking in terms of making sure that there's some kind of resolution? Or, I know that there was some anticipation that the new mayor would. What's your take, Councilman?
Can you hear me? Because I want you to hear this real good.
Say it, yeah.
Yeah, you call him the mayor. My position is that when you have a press conference 2 weeks before the election in the chief election officer's office, the county clerk, which is illegal, a county clerk cannot use his office to help one candidate over the other. Right now, I'm trying to subpoena the clerk. I call him Mr. Neely. It was 14,000 people voted. That press conference and that illegal act between those two helped him to win by a measly 205 votes. Until I finish my investigation on that, I'm not calling him the mayor. So I don't know what Mr. Neely wants.
I'm not even calling him mayor. By the way, remember you got in a bar fight with the mayor's deputy mayor, whatever he was, whatever happened with that?
It wasn't a fight. I got beat up. I'm an elder. I'm 62 years old. I didn't hit nobody. I got beat up. The state police did a prosecution, and it's been laying on the prosecutor's desk for 4 or 5 months. But when other people get beat up, it's prosecuted. Now, I'm here to tell you I got a concern with that because I'm not going to live in a city where the mayor's boys is walking around like gangsters beating up councilmen.
Oh, my God. Fuck it. What's going on in Flint?
Everything in Flint's a
Beat up,
disaster.
Charlie, that beat up had to do with me subpoenaing him and the county clerk. They trying to stop it. It won't come out. It won't go away till I die. You can't cheat in an election. You can't interfere like the Russians and think I'm going to call you mayor.
Was it a beat up or a beat down?
beat down. I mean, I done seen them bar bouncers pull people off other people. I never thought it would be me talking politics. You're getting beat up for doing your job.
Did he kick you in the nuts?
Oh man, I was protecting them.
So you couldn't get a shot in then?
I'm 62. It should have happened when I was 23 or 28. I could move faster. I'm an elder.
There's plenty of room in the nursing homes if you.
Heard y'all talking about that. I'm scared of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's bad news, man.
Yeah, so we in a situation. Even when the mayor, or that y'all call him, Mr. Neely, was state rep, he wasn't in the fight like he should have been in the water crisis. And I'm here to tell you, I'm very concerned that the governor listens to him and don't know that he done come in there in a wrong way. He beating people up. He ain't telling the truth. I'm concerned.
Okay, we'll leave it at that, sir. Keep in touch. Let us know what's going on with the criminal portion of this. And as always, thanks for...
We can get that civil money up higher. That's nothing to really get excited about. We got a long way to go. I thank you, Charlie. I appreciate the relationship. It's a lot of bullshit going on down here.
Oh, man, everywhere, brother.
Here's your drop right there.
He's marking it down. And you know what? Let's just go over that. Let's go over that a second. $600 million, $200 million going to the lawyers, big contributor to the governor and the attorney general. I looked it up. No RICO charges. They will reinstate involuntary manslaughter charges that were already brought, that we were told were a pile of shit, and they had to redo it, and they just bring them back. And Snyder will be hit with some kind of misdemeanor. Mark it in your books. We'll get big headlines. But like they're saying in Flint, when you do all the math, right, so far, I got a used car out of this.
The sad thing with stories like this is that, especially now with COVID, is it's not on people's radar anymore.
I know.
It's sad. It's just not on people's radar. I mean, we all know what Flint means and what happened, but do people care as much? Just like the dams and the flooding.
It's not sexy anymore. Like, it's not the topic of the day. We're diverted by other things, and that's also a convenient out for those that are responsible for so many things, because we just keep running from thing to thing to thing. Yep. And, you know, Charlie's one. He has it on his mental list. He's going to go back until there's some kind of resolution. But for the most part, people have very short memories. Like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Whatever happened to it? So Good question.
We got to have to keep on it. You know, so that's why we try to call it the hour.
Yeah.
You know, one in a little bit in a week, so you're caught up. Because I'm not forgetting. I'm taking the big ones, I'm creating the big ones, and I'm staying on it for all of us. I get nothing out of it. I'm like you, I'm frustrated, and I see it, and I want the shit fixed. Buy those T-shirts, Drew and Mike Shop.
Store.
What happens to the money from those T-shirts, Charlie? I think people need to know, because everybody's asking. They're asking for hoodies, because we will move into fall. They want to buy the shirts. It's the DrewandMikeStore.com. Charlie, where does all the money go?
We will do that. Go to DrewandMikeStore.com and get these.
Your flag's blocking it.
These.
There you go.
These. Get these, because the Fix the Shit sold out, and we're re-upping.
Yes.
Right? And once we bought like 300 of these and 300 of the Fix the Shits. Those are gone. These are lagging, I know. But now that we cleared, what do you call it? The overhead? The money we put in, we had to pay up front for them. Yeah. Now that we cleared it, the money goes to kids of our choice. And this...
Not our kids.
Our kids. They're our
not our biological children, but the children that we embrace and support.
Exactly. And I will tell you about one. We're gonna help a kid get a car.
A very special guy.
Very special guy, close to me. That's how we're doing it. No politicians, no foundations, no charities. You know who you're helping. I'm gonna tell you about the kid. But I want to say this before we move on. Speaking of mayors, our mayor, Mike Duggan. Great. Because remember, I stay on shit.
Yep.
Right? Demolition, federal grand juries, the land bank. Yet another audit comes out, asked for by the Auditor General of Detroit. Want to know what an independent forensic auditor said?
Love to.
Looked at it and said, irregular transactions not recorded in the land bank's ledger, unapproved vendor payments, and payroll discrepancies. The inability of the land bank to provide a property-by-property accounting of amounts paid per demolition. Now, here's the thing. 80 recipients of checks, right?
Yeah.
From the land bank. They paid out $315 million in checks. 80 recipients, comprising about $50 million, were made to vendors who were not included in the land bank's approved vendor list.
So what'd they do?
Makes sense.
They are not approved vendors, and they paid them. So here's what I just want to read you a little section from the.
Yeah.
It says, even minor discrepancies in these details.
A minor?
Right.
Okay.
Can be a red flag of fraudulent activity where an unauthorized payment is made but disguised as a legitimate payment. 50 million.
It's fraud.
And that's the federal money. Dude, everybody that's been looking at this, it's a ripoff. And he wants $250 million more from homeowners in Detroit who are owed $600 million for being illegally taxed. You're not getting it.
No.
Is the serial killer house still up?
Serial killer house is still up.
Okay.
I saw it yesterday. Yeah, it says, can you help me out with $1 painted on the side of the house? But no, proposal in is for no.
He has not demonstrated it. See, again, you're getting lapdog media. Here's one for you. The 15,000th house was demoed. And they had, look,
Big celebration, yeah.
Yeah, forget about all of what you really heard. Look at this big celebration. Not one reporter showed up. You know what happened? They sent one cameraman. They shared the footage.
Yeah, fool.
They sent one cameraman. And guess who was asking the government officials, the land bank officials, about these houses? The spokesperson for the land bank.
Oh, boy.
Was asking the questions of the land bank. And then the television stations were taking it and pretending like they were asking the questions.
It's not a press conference. It goes back to what you said earlier, Karen. It's all controlled.
It is.
Yeah.
Did you hear what I said?
Yeah.
I've been on both sides.
lazy.
I'm telling you it is.
Yeah.
That's a dereliction of duty. I also know another one. Person has clients. This person films their clients, then calls the reporters and gives them the video of the client that they recorded.
Dying to know who
But
this
they
is
also
now.
know that the stations are functioning on a shoestring. You got one reporter doing stories for two. So they're feeding into that and they're exploiting it. Like, hey, we know you don't have the resources to do it and you aren't going to, so let me do it for you.
So why doesn't we have the government ask the government questions and then we willingly put it on there? Man, you fucking resign that job. There's a lot of kids coming out of college want those jobs.
Yeah.
Get out.
Well, if you can send a pool cameraman, you can send a pool reporter.
Wow. And so that's what we get. And again, the governor now holds press conferences with no press there.
Yeah.
And you're picking and choosing what? Little tweet questions?
Well,
there's a follow-up to the empty answer you just gave.
It is Shark
But people don't think, Charlie. I mean, there are elected officials, corporate leaders, people that are participating. They want questions up front. And it's like, what kind of interview? That to me is not an interview.
The business community is dodging me down there. I want to know what you spent of the school kids' money. Because here's another one. Detroit was supposed to be wired for internet when they replaced the light poles.
That's true.
The director of lighting bid it out. I have the contract. I have the bid scores, right?
That's true.
But the mayor wasn't happy that some of his chosen business people weren't getting some of the contracts. They got in a fight in City Hall. The Free Press reported it like they got in a fight over something nobody knows about. I met with the lighting director the night before he got fired by the board, and he laid it all out. And I got the contracts. This town should have been wired for children.
It's not hard.
Because now we need it.
It's not hard anyway.
But
it shouldn't be.
So-
Not given
so-
this is 2020. Everything should. You can access the internet everywhere. But there was an official.
Let me do
at the
this again.
table.
But his personal relationship is getting in the way of it.
Let me do this again. Did you hear what I said?
Yes.
You tanked a contract. It was a memorandum of understanding. It's signed. An award was given to the lowest bidder. We don't have it. So, anybody? Or should we just send a camera and let the
Let them
mayor's
answer?
spokesman ask him questions?
Yeah, you'll get to the bottom of it then.
Because now we need it. Now you know why Black America, urban Black America, poor Black America, does not succeed. They're getting ripped off and nobody looking out for them. They're not stupid people, but nobody pays attention to this kind of shit.
But how does somebody sit around the table from DTE when they were having these meetings about how to help with the schools, and a high-ranking official said they didn't realize that there was such a large population in the city of Detroit that didn't have internet access?
Time
Where
out.
the hell have you been?
Because guess who scored those bids when the lighting director put out the bids? DTE. So I don't know if I believe it.
It's so incestuous.
I know, I'm just so inside. I'm sorry, folks.
No, it's interesting.
Fuck.
Don't apologize for it.
Well,
Somebody's asked these
see,
questions.
we're going round and round in this
I know.
country, and you want to know where it's really at.
Well, it always surprises me too. There's always a lot of anger at the federal government, justifiably so. But where's the uprising and the anger at local government? So much happens on the local level.
Yes.
That impacts you first.
It
You're right.
absolutely does. But no one ever bothers. I don't know what it is. I don't know why people.
Well,
it must just
people,
be.
People also give people a pass if they like them or if they've been painted the picture as the savior. We think everything is okay. All our direction is
Hey.
pointed towards somebody else that people don't like.
There's a lot of people I like that do a shitty job.
Yeah, look,
It starts with myself.
again, I'm just trying to.
Stop, Mark.
Yeah, I hear.
What?
You do a great
It's
job.
okay to
Don't
personally
say
do a
that.
shitty job.
I still kind of like myself. I don't know.
You should. We love you, so
Just
stop.
kidding. Just kidding.
No, not after today. Not this.
I know
shit-
today's pretty.
shit
Today's a pretty
fucking
shitty job.
show. It's terrible. I'm glad you're all still with us. Do me a favor.
Are you? I don't know.
Is anybody even?
Yeah, we got quite a few there
Okay,
hanging out.
good.
Thank you all for sticking around.
Yeah, listen. Can
I
you,
hope they
can,
are,
Can you
because-
all share it? Can you do that?
Yeah.
Can you go to like iTunes or Google Play or Stitcher and download this show, please? I don't like to over promote. I don't. I just don't. So I'm counting on you to help get this word out because we are going to be expanding. Just wait for it. I'll have more details.
And you can share on your Facebook page. Just as I've shared the live stream, you can hit share. You can start a watch party. Let other people know. Give them the opportunity to, check us out and compliment or criticize us or weigh in and share tips and, hey, participate in our community. We certainly appreciate
The
it.
tips work. And we are the most listened to newscast, news hour than any other in
Believe it.
Michigan.
Yeah.
We are. You did that. We did that. This is the number one for an hour.
See, Mark, good job.
Wow.
Yeah.
Charlie. I mean, you, Karen.
Yeah.
It's us.
Remember, I joined this late.
Something, but I refuse. I got 20 years in the business. I refuse to lay down.
I was talking to.
But you started the show under the table.
I guess you look. I'm like
Look at
everybody
you
else.
now. Look at you
I'm like
now.
everybody else. I get down.
I know. And there's a lot of negativity today, but there's a big positive note coming up. I
But
think.
Charlie, this is what I try to remind you all the time. I know you to get down. You feel like you're not making the difference that you want to make. And that is what drives who you are and what you do. I understand that. Mark understands that. And I'm telling you, based on the comments, based on how many people pick up your tips, based on the changes that inevitably come, it may seem slow. It may seem like an unthankful thing, but you are making a difference. You are, you have, you continue to. You got tons of folks that are listening that continue to listen to this show, share the show.
Aren't
it
you
may be a
sweet?
different format or a different,
Aren't you
different
sweet?
platform.
Here's one. I got one for you.
Yes.
Here's the other one, Mr. Mayor. You see this here?
This is important.
See what I got? Look at this. Look.
I love it.
You know what that is? You know what this is? This is an honorary Detroit Fire Chief's hat. Honorary Detroit Fire Chief. This is an honor. You know how rare it is to get one of these? And I am proud to be an honorary fire chief
Cool.
because I respect the men and women of that department. Here's the deal. if we're in the middle of a pandemic, where is their hazard pay? It's gone.
Great question.
Why did they get $3.50 an hour when the cops and the bus drivers got $5? Here's the deal. Remember when all the cops were out sick with COVID, half our force was off?
Yeah.
Well, out of the 5,000 tests that they actually took, a grand total of 17 cops actually had COVID.
That's it.
Kind of like a couple weeks off.
That's it.
And remember, Duggan's going around like Rachel Maddow and stuff going, the way we turned it around was we tested those officers and got them back on the street. I don't even understand what that means because no cop had COVID. They weren't spreading it.
I would bet half of those cases are from that pancake breakfast too, which was
Keep talking.
well, it was one of the first big outbreaks that people talked
that was
about.
it.
It's
That was
17,
it.
17,
Yeah.
17
That's good.
cases
I'm glad it's only 17.
over 6 months. So I don't know about any pancake breakfast.
No, that's what I'm saying. About half, I would guess half of them were from that, so that's even better.
So Duggan's supposition that that we stopped the death was because we got cops to go back to work doesn't make any sense. And they didn't have COVID. Now, in the meantime, those that tend to us are public servants when we can't breathe, the ones that are looking down our nasal passages. Of the 300 paramedics, 30 of them caught it. 1 out of every 10 paramedics caught it. 1 out of every 13 firefighters caught it. 60 cases. So, why are they not working with a contract for over a year, Mayor? Why are they losing their wages to inflation? Why aren't you dealing straight? Where is the union, the public safety unions? If you guys aren't going to say anything, I will. Deal fair. Get them a contract and pay them righteously because they're the fuckers doing the work. And the mayor didn't lay off one person.
From his.
That's his appointee of his. 140 of these people averaging $142,000 a year.
Can I ask a dumb question?
Do it.
Why don't they have a contract? What's the excuse?
Right. I
What
don't know.
Is there an excuse?
Well,
Is there?
we're in a COVID emergency. Where was it last year? Deal.
Other people get work done during the COVID emergency. Fix it.
And again,
I don't
if
understand.
we're not having democracy, there must still be a pandemic.
Yeah.
They got nothing to
You
get fucked.
got to take care of them first.
Because not only did we defund the police in this town, we defunded public safety. Don't believe the hype. But that's all downer. It's a downer,
Yeah.
right? And if the world seems dark these days, if you're anxious or angry, adrift or uncertain, if you need something encouraging to lean on, then dig. Take this story of Jordan Ruffin L., 18 years old. Take him, an 18-year-old, to be your pillar. I met Jordan a few years ago when he was a 16-year-old attending one of those church basement circles that tries to help young black men cope with coming of age in one of America's roughest cities. Jordan told me then he had moved out of his mother's house on Detroit's west side because his mother did not have enough room for him and all the rest of the children. I just kind of fell on my sword and moved, he told me then. I didn't want to be a burden. So he moved in with another teenager on the city's east side where houses sag and broken glass glitters. He was committed to finishing high school, making something of himself so he could help his family when he came of age. I don't want to leave my community. I want to build it. But why is this so hard? And it's a great question. So Jordan would take 2 city buses cross town to get to Martin Luther King High School in the fangs of winter. And I'd ride with him in school sometimes to church in the summer where he'd mow grass. You always got to keep your head on a swivel. That's what he'd say to me. Kids getting shot just for their tennis shoes around here. You got to carry yourself. This from a 16-year-old boy already too old for his age. Then his mother, Rashida, fell sick, got behind on the mortgage. The bank was on its way to foreclosure. The sheriff just behind to toss her belongings and the children to the curb. Jordan's mother had made the payments faithfully because I saw the financial records. Faithfully over a decade. But it was a predatory loan designed for the poor who never seemed to emerge whole. Over those 10 years, Rashida paid back twice the amount that she had borrowed and was nowhere near clear of paying it off. Think of that. There's a lot of money to be had in poverty in America. So I watched Jordan give her his last $500. I'm so proud of the man you become, she told him, laying her hand on his cheek. Now, people who read about their struggles when I wrote them were impressed with this kid's strength and his love for his family. They helped rescue the family home. It was one victory in a life of struggle. So, shortly after, came the pain. Jordan's best friend Meech took his life with a gun, unable to cope with the difficulties of being a young person in a city where the schools have disintegrated, where crime is rampant and jobs are scarce. It hurts, Jordan said to me. It hurts so bad, and the struggle's so real. It wasn't the end of the pain or the struggle, because a few months later, just around Christmas last year, Jordan's other best friend, Timerian, was gunned down in front of a liquor store. Another teenager. His crime? He looked at the dope man the wrong way. So Jordan called me again. I wish I had the resources to help my brother when he was alive, Jordan told me. Now in death, he's in need of some dignity. Can you help? Anything would be appreciated. And so again, I wrote the story. And again, perfect strangers like you responded, reconfirming to me that there's a lot of good in the American heart. Timerian was buried with dignity in a white coffin with flowers, which provided dignity to Jordan. So there's the real hope. Thank all the people who helped me, please, Charlie, he asked. And so I'm doing it. Indeed, thank all of you that care about your fellow person. And through it all, Jordan kept going. He studied business and marketing in high school. Then high school ended abruptly with the COVID-19 pandemic. No senior parties, no prom, no walk across the stage for a guy who really deserved the moment. He had done it in a town where far too many don't. He did it alone. He graduated by way of guts and hard work, brains, and determination. I really dig this dude. But his life, like many of ours, hung in suspended animation in that East Side house, wondering where to begin in adulthood that he had already been living. He came across an online employment ad for an in-person marketing job, standing in the box stores in the distant suburbs, selling people on this or that, cable packages, whatever is the deal of the day. At least it's a foot in the door. He was 17 at the time, so we couldn't hire him, said the CEO, Calvin Font, of Innovative Client Connections, the ones that hired him. But we liked him so much when he was 17 that we called him back when he turned 18. He's just got that attitude you don't see in a guy his age. Our job is to develop him, polish him up. He's on track for management in the next year. And we don't have any managers under the age of 21. He's got that certain intangible you're looking for, a willingness. So Jordan earns $10 an hour plus commission. It's modest, but a beginning, like a sapling stretching its root. Living proof that the best of us can be found in any town, on any corner in this place called America, if just given the chance to flower. With no license and no car, Jordan's bumming rides to the suburbs. He scheduled a driving test now that he's 18 because being poor and broke, never got those driving lessons. He's socking away money for the car that hopefully comes one day. The world of a man is in front of me, he said to me the other day on the phone. I'm ready for it. Actions speak. That is the best of us. It's an 18-year-old.
Amazing kid.
What a dude.
Yeah.
So what do we have to do, Charlie? And if people are asking,
What
do they need to do? How can they help?
We're going to let it hang a minute
Okay.
and just appreciate, there's a young black man who could have used more of our help, but he got some of it. There's a lot of people like this. It doesn't have to be that way. So, see these shirts? Remember we told you? We're giving them to people we know, deserving people. We're going to get them that car. You get a nice T-shirt, join the movement, fix the shit. We take that money, and I'll get him the toolbox, and I'll teach him how to change his oil. That's what we're doing. This is how we can do it. And you don't have to. You can just give him a bravo. Just take it in there and don't lose hope. This kid's doing it. We can all do it.
What's he want to do? I know you said business and marketing.
Yeah.
Does he?
Yeah, I know.
I'm curious.
No.
I mean, he's still young. He's got
He's got a
time.
website going. He's selling
does.
clothing, and he's beginning. So kids say stuff like, I want to be an entrepreneur. What's that mean? So let him focus. He wants to be his own, run his own business. You know what I mean?
I'm here to help in that regard. I always encourage entrepreneurship because young kids, especially young Black kids, help drive and influence style and marketing decisions at such a higher level. But when they understand their importance and their impact, then they can capitalize on it. So is this the guy that we took to lunch with the mayor, Charlie?
Yes.
Is this the same young man? Okay. So I told him then, and I'll tell you now, whatever I can do, I am all about entrepreneurship.
It was cute. It was cute too. We went to Sinbad's with Mayor.
Yeah, we did.
and they put the salad in the soup, and it's got all the forks and knives.
Yeah.
And I didn't learn it till college too. Like
outside in.
Yeah. And he's looking at the cutlery like, what the fuck do I do with this? And Karen sort of looks at her, and she taps. She taps the proper fork for him. That's
great.
It was really
But that's what we have to do, Charlie. I mean, and I always tell this story briefly. I remember being in a restaurant and there was a young lady sitting at the next table, and she was drinking coffee and she had the spoon in her cup. And, on the scale of life's challenges, that's not a big deal, but it's from an etiquette perspective incorrect. So I said, excuse me. I said, how old are you? And she says, I'm 17. She's got the hair, the nails. And I said, well, I'm a few years older than you. And it's my responsibility to make sure that you're always your best. When you're drinking something, remove the spoon. And I waited. She could have cursed me out. She should have said, you old lady, shut the hell up. Instead, she said, thank you. Nobody ever taught me that. So we have to stop penalizing our kids for not knowing what we haven't taught them. All of our kids, the ones we see on the street, the ones that we don't know, the ones that we need to connect with. Every child that we encounter belongs to us, and we need to treat it that way.
well said.
You know what I just learned? I'm not going out to eat with Karen, man.
You better not, because I will. I have a friend that every time he puts the damn spoon, I'm like, if you don't take that spoon out of the cup.
I refuse to eat next to her. You know what I mean?
I don't want to get yelled at.
Like,
Jeez.
I know how to take the straw out of the cocktail. All right?
Yes.
That's all you got to worry about. Because she doesn't drink.
Now I
and
know I'm
she
going to
doesn't
be
know what the
judged.
fuck.
Jeez.
Like, Charlie, why you don't put your finger in the glass? That's how you do it, Karen. We trick Karen into bad drinking habits.
Hey,
You're supposed to clear your nose.
It is all out of love. All out of love.
So this is, you go to
good kid, though, man.
drewandmikestore.com if you want to do that. Remember, just, subscribe to it. Download this shit so I don't got to keep asking you to do it. Because Drew asked me to. And, sorry about the fuck up on the show today.
Which one?
Yeah. But.
It's all my fault. Don't worry.
And yeah, and you know what? A good Samaritan has texted me, and he's gonna send some money. We're gonna get Jordan this car.
Good.
Yep. Right.
I'm in, Charlie. I'm not buying a shirt, but I'm putting in on it.
Yeah.
I got one he can have in a minute, but I'm in on it. I'm gonna help him buy one.
I think I'm just gonna have to open a separate bank account. No, I have.
There's one.
I have a business bank account.
Hey, what size shoe does he wear? Can you ask him that?
That's fucking weird, Karen.
Jeez,
No.
what else?
Dude,
How big's his inseam?
I met him when he was 16. He's 18. Like, what kind of drawers does he prefer? Fuck if I know. I don't know.
Listen, I happened upon a brand new pair of Jordans, and I don't know either I'm going to sell them, but if they're his size, he can have them.
What size are they?
13.
Oh,
I'll toss.
I'll tell you what, I'll take them and shove newspaper in them. 13's pretty big. Yeah, for a pair of Jordans, sure. I wear 13s. Fuck it.
Signing off of this. I feel abused.
All right, well, till next week, y'all. Keep on trying. Try to love one another.
Marky got with Sharon, and Sharon got Sharia. She was sharing Sharon's outlook on the topic of disease. Mikey had a facial scar, and Bobby was a racist. They were all in love with dying. They were doing it in Texas. Tommy played piano like a kid out in the rain, and then he lost his leg in Dallas. He was dancing with the train. They were all in love with dying. They were drinking from a fountain that was pouring like an avalanche coming down the mountain. I don't mind the sun sometimes, the images it shows. I can taste you on my lips and smell you in my clothes. Cinnamon fiery auto crashes. Some will die in hot pursuit while sifting through my ashes. Some will fall in love with life and drink it from a fountain that is pouring like an avalanche coming down the mountain.
I don't mind the sun sometimes, the images it shows. I could taste you on my lips and smell you in my clothes. Cinnamon and sugary and softly spoken lies. You never know just how you look through other people's eyes.
Another Mikey took a knife while arguing in traffic. Flipper died a natural death, he caught a nasty virus. Then there was the ever-present football player rapist. They were all in love with dying, they were doing it in Texas. Holly caught a bullet, but it only hit his leg. Well, it should have been a better shot, got him in the head. They were all in love with dying, they were drinking from a fountain that was pouring like an avalanche, coming down the mountain.
I don't mind the sun sometimes, the images it shows. I could